Hi and welcome to Wee Gems. Today is all about self-love, self-care, caring for me. And this is very much part of LeadingME. Self-care, I think we can get mixed up with what that is. And self-love, my God, we hear it, we know that we should do it, but we're not really sure how to do that or what to do to make that happen. I've had many times in my life that I have not shown self-care or self-love at all. I know that for many years I would think I was giving myself some self-care. I'd take myself off to the masseur maybe once a month, or maybe because I was so busy, once every 2 months or 3 months. And I'd think that was self-care. Don't get me wrong, I love a massage and I love when I've found a goodie. And I love having that time for me. But just going and doing that once a month or once every few weeks or once every few months, that's not self-care. And self-love, I can honestly say I've had many times through my life that I didn't love myself at all. So the reason I talk about it, and the reason I talk about any of what I do, is because I've experienced it. For me, it's the only way that I can talk about these things. If I haven't experienced it, then I can't actually do that. But there was quite a number of years ago now, I don't even know, it's over 20, I gave myself depression. And I choose my words very carefully there. I gave myself depression. And it was through lack of self-love, lack of understanding myself, giving myself time, and allowing myself the self-care that I deserve. So where does self-love come from? Well, it actually comes from self-care. It's that easy. We have to care for ourselves first before we can get to the love of self. And I remember every time a holiday would come around, or I'd take a few days, I'd fall ill, I'd fall sick. So I would work and be busy and constantly on the go, and then would come my holidays, and probably day 1 or day 2 into it, boom, I was absolutely out. Usually it was a cold or a virus, so either virus or bacterial, whichever way it would be, it would hit me. If you're suffering that right now, just have a look at what you're doing and what self-care you're giving to yourself. Because there's many times that when I've been speaking on some of these subjects and I'll ask people how many people in the room actually go sick when they go off, there is many, many, many hands go up. And the reason for that is our bodies are not allowed to be healing themselves. And when I talk about healing themselves, that's exactly what our body's there. This part of our body is here to heal us, and it does that mainly through our sleep and our rest and us taking care of self. So if you are falling ill very easily when you go off on holiday, or even falling ill because you need the break and your body is speaking to you and you're ignoring that, then that is where your immune system really, really finds it difficult and won't work the way it's meant to. And in these times, when there are so many viruses and various other things, the one thing you want to be doing for yourself is looking after me, taking care of me, because you'll be leading by example. And particularly if you have children or people who are looking at you, then you've got to think about them as well as yourself. If I am leading me in the right way, then those others will follow. You're the example. You're setting the example for whoever it is around you. So for me, the self-care really started, the self-love really started with the self-care, and the self-care really started when I realized, and all of a sudden I woke up to my body kept telling me things, and yet I was ignoring them. I had depression and I was very unwell and kept everything at bay and really didn't want anybody around me. And I did fall into that pit of despair, that pit of really feeling numb. Because it's only as you're going down into depression and as you're coming up from it, that's the times that you really want to take action. Down here, you don't want to do a thing. So I gave myself depression. I fell into that because of my lack of care. And the thing is, I didn't fully learn my lesson when I came out of it, because I'd still fall ill and I'd still do so much. I'd take myself to the brink, but I'd know the brink and pull myself back. Now, I haven't had depression since way back 20 odd years ago. But the reason that I haven't had it is because I realised it is my body's way of, and it was too late, right? If we've got dis-ease in our body, it's too late to, not to do something about it, but it's too late to go, oh, well, that was bound to happen. No, it's not. If you'd have listened to your body much earlier than that, it wouldn't happen at all. But it was too late for me. I had to experience that. But to be honest, it's one of the biggest gifts I've given myself. Wouldn't want to go through it again. And that's why I have not gone through it again. And I've made sure I've not gone through it again. Because I still had some lack of care for me on a number of occasions. And it's only through LeadingME and looking at what is it my body's telling me? What am I not listening to? What am I seeing happening? What twitches am I getting? What feelings am I getting? I had a shoulder that was really bad. And it took me a long time before I'd done anything about that, right? So it's not that when I was depressed, it taught me everything all at the one go. It didn't. But it taught me I didn't want to go back there. So I'd take some self-care around that. But then when other things showed up in my body, I didn't really get that until it was too far down the line. And then I had to start really working to get it back. So the quicker we can identify this, the better it is. So being in tune with your body, knowing your body, understanding your body, talking to your body. And I really mean that, because if we've got another couple of brains, let's face it, we talk up here a lot to ourselves. There's nothing wrong with speaking down here, right, to our gut brain and our heart brains. They're still brains. They still have memories, still have synapses. They just don't look like this one. But they're the powerhouses to feel. So we need to go to them. You know, if people say, oh, I feel really anxious, then you have to look at what's causing that and what can you do to change that. So self-care, what do we do for self-care? Well, I have routines and habits that I've built up in the morning and at night. So what habits do you have that you've built up? Now, if you are waking up in the morning and the first thing you do is you think, oh, shit, I've still got that thing that I was worried about or thinking about yesterday or last night or whenever it may be, right? Oh my God, it was really bad. Then that's not self-care, guys. That's just sloppy thinking. That's just your momentum has stopped. You've managed to stop that whole thought process, and as soon as you open your eyes up, you're back to it again. That's not self-care. Self-care is when you're waking up and the first thing you do is think of a good thought. And sometimes you have to reach for that, right? But you actually think of something really good. You think of something really wonderful as you're waking up, like I'm alive today. My body, this amazing thing here, has kept me alive. And I didn't do anything other than sleep. Right? So it's how you're waking up in the morning. When I go in for a shower, which is another part of my routine, is that I'll watch the water come off my skin and I'll go, wow, look at how that's just fallen off. Waterproof. We're waterproof. How amazing is that we're waterproof? And then I'll talk to my body about how amazing it is. Now, mirror exercise is where you stand in the mirror and look at yourself and say, I love me, or I have lovely eyes, or I have lovely hair, or I have lovely lips, or whatever it is you say. It can be really difficult. And I know because I do it, I've been asked to do it, I have asked clients to do it, right? It can be really, really difficult when you don't self-care and you don't self-love, right? But what I find was when I'm in the shower, I can easily talk to my body about how amazing these trillions of cells that do amazing things for me when I'm not even thinking about it. That's phenomenal, right? So I'll stand and I'll talk to it and I'll hug it and say thank you for just being me and looking after me, and I'll chat away. That helps me move into a self-care, self-love mode. And at first it might feel a bit weird to do it, but the more you talk to your body, the easier it becomes. But it also, the biggest thing of all is it's setting me up for my day. It's setting me up for a good day. And then from that, I'll look at, meditation next. So I like to meditate in the morning. And sometimes I'll do it in the evening, but I like to meditate once a day. That can be 10 minutes because I've only got 10 minutes, or it can be 20. Sometimes I'll meditate for an hour or so. That I won't even put a timer on. And, I'll be away in about an hour or an hour and a half. And that's because I'm actually enjoying it so much. And meditation and sleep actually switch off the momentum of whatever's going on, whether it be good or bad within you. And I mean that with inverted commas, good and bad, because I'm not even sure these exist. They're just our perception of something. So it stops that. So if sleep has helped you to stop that momentum and then you start that momentum up, then your whole day is going to be shit, full of bad vibe, momentum. Okay. So what I'm talking about is that you start your day in a really good way so that you can start building that good momentum, and then you add on to it in the shower, and then you add on to it by, again, stopping everything, getting yourself into calm, clear mode, and then you can go off and do whatever and focus solely on that because it brings the clarity of the mind. And then at night, I have another wee routine that sets me off on a lovely sleep at night, on being, and the same happens in the morning. I do actually have an appreciation. I prefer appreciation than gratitude. But I appreciate, so I'm appreciating my body in the morning. I'm appreciating me. I can stand in the mirror and look and say, Max, you look brilliant. You look fab. Just think of how good you now feel because you're looking after you. Well done. Right? I can actually do that now. Couldn't do it at the beginning. Right? Couldn't do it at the beginning. But because I built it and I understand that I'm talking to that source energy part of me, not necessarily, when I say look good, I mean I'm looking good from the inside out, right? This isn't, and this is why we have so much problem with people injecting all sorts of stuff into us, into ourselves, is because we can't really love me for me. So I love me for me. I teach people how to do that because it's so important. And when we don't do that, we're not setting good examples for others. So LeadingME is all about making sure I do the best for me. I care for me and I love me. Make sure that you've got some really good habits there in the morning and at night to set you off to sleep in a nice way and to set you on a really good track for a really good day every day, because you can do it. It just takes a bit of habit, less sloppy thinking, more focused thinking about what's easier for you to do. So stay true, stay you, keep bringing out your brilliance, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.